Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Malik Pro Talks. Today I am sitting with Michael, who's a client turned friend. Hi Michael, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for inviting me. It's
Pleasure
a
is
pleasure.
always mine. In this video, we're going to talk about Airbnb because Michael is one of the clients who is managing most of his properties by himself. And at the moment, you are having properties in which countries?
Malta, Emirates, focusing on Dubai, and Romania, Bucharest.
Romania.
Actually, I have like 25 properties.
25 properties. So if you are a person who's having properties on himself and looking forward to rent it out on short-term basis through an agency or by yourself, so Maida can help us out understanding what are the processes, what are the procedures, and how you can maximize your occupancy as well as your rental as well. Michael, it's going to be a long video because we are going to talk about in detail how someone can rent out the property themselves. So once a client has bought a property or they took it out on rent, I believe the procedures are going to be different. Yes.
Yes, it's going to be different. First, when you sold me the property, basically
Back in
5 years
2018,
ago,
let's say.
I didn't want to rent the property for long because
Okay.
if I would have rent for long, I couldn't stay inside the property when I came to Dubai.
That's a very valid point because
Yes, that was the point.
Yes.
I want to have the property when I was in Dubai, but I didn't want to lose the opportunity to make money to pay the installment plan.
that's a very good approach because you know what happens is people don't have that approach when they come to Dubai and their property is already rented for long term. They ended up paying higher payments to the hotels
Exactly.
rather than enjoying their own property.
First of all, you are spending money in a hotel, and second, you are not enjoying something a property which is your property.
Yes.
Make you feel
The owner and
yes,
that
it's
sort of
it's
yes.
amazing. This feeling,
That
I
truly is.
really believe that an experience that make you feel like, wow.
Yes, I can relate. Totally, I can understand that. Yes, you have to live inside your property.
Yes.
So once you are done buying the property is handed over. As an owner, we'll talk about the tenanted part later on. So as an owner, what are the steps?
Let's say the first step that you have to do is furnish your property.
Furnish your property.
Furnish your property. So what I suggest, it's called not an architect, an interior design, which roughly will charge you 2,000 dirham.
So like some companies or like some individuals we can
You will find a lot on Instagram. Depends. Now there is a guy. Maybe tomorrow there is another one, or a girl. Actually, I don't remember the name, but there are good advertising on Instagram.
So you paid like 2,000 dirhams
Yes.
for the interior designer,
Yes,
which
what
you sourced from
basically-
Instagram.
Yes, what basically they do is they come to your apartment and they check the site,
Okay.
and then they will ask you what kind of style you like, modern, old style, country.
Okay.
Then they will also choose
Color
the
palette.
color, the paint
Yes.
for the living room. I suggest it's better run with these professional people than alone, because sometimes alone you can make a lot of mistake. Maybe you choose a blue which you really like but doesn't match with the sofa
Yes.
or with the couch, or maybe you buy a TV which is too big for one bedroom apartment or for a studio. So I know that having a big TV it's cool, but you have to understand the size of your apartment.
So I have seen while I was visiting Europe, I have seen, because I was staying in Airbnb myself, so I have seen, people don't really understand that they think like putting one sofa, TV, and a bed is more than enough to put their units out there on Airbnb. But what I have seen over there is people do have the kitchen was fully equipped. They were having the cutlery inside.
Yes.
The electric kettle was there, toaster was there. So which things has to be there?
A must coffee machine
Must coffee machine.
for espresso. I'm Italian and I suggest espresso. However, if you go down, all building have a convenience shop downstairs.
Yes.
You can find cup, coffee, instant coffee, so better buy a coffee machine. Toast as well and microwave. These are
That has to be there.
a must. Yes.
That has to be must.
And then what you need is also a nice sofa, which make you the difference, because an apartment and your apartment, especially with picture, you need a professional photographer
Yeah.
to make the picture.
That's really another important point.
Yes, when you are on Airbnb, what you are looking first of all is the area, and then are the picture. What you wanna see, what is inside. If you see an apartment which is good looking, for sure you will choose that one.
Of course, because picture is like, it's
There are a lot
visual
of
based
apartments.
industry, so picture has to be a professional picture.
Dubai is full of apartments. Why I should choose your apartment? In the same building, there are more or less 20 apartments on Airbnb, because you like that picture, because you
So-
like the details.
If I'm not wrong, like you advise to all the people out there who are looking for Airbnb, so furnish the unit in a way that your unit looks not superior, but has to be somewhere in the middle, a decent unit.
You can have a, let's say, a luxury apartment, depends which area. For you, we have property in downtown. You cannot furniture with normal
With the normal, yes.
furniture. So then we spend for
Based on the area, you
Yes.
try to furnish your unit in a way,
exactly.
and then hire an interior designer, pay 2,000 dirhams. And
Yes,
how much do you recall how much you have paid for the professional shoot? For the shoot.
1,000 dirham, 800 dirham, things
Let's
like
say these
this.
two additional costs, which is 2,000 for interior designing, 1,000 for the
Yes.
photo shoot, just
Yes.
3,000 dirhams, and you can give your apartment a professional look.
Yes.
And how much
Definitely.
approximately for this Belarus unit in Bursa
So
South?
for a studio, I think you need in euro in dirham should be 15,000.
15,000. Everything.
Yes, for a
Okay.
studio. For a one bedroom apartment, between 20-25,000, depends about also the area. For a two bedroom apartment, between 50 and 60.
And if you don't mind, like I can put your apartment, this one bedroom pictures on the screen so people can see like within
Yeah.
20,000 what sort of quality we are talking
Yes,
about in
yes.
terms of appliances and the finishing. So once the unit is done, it's fully furnished, the shoot is done. As an owner, what you have to acquire, which approval you have to take.
Basically, you need one apply for a license at the tourism department. And
Okay.
That's it. Once they issue the license, you are able to you can post your apartment on Airbnb
On
or on
Airbnb.
Booking. Yes.
Okay. And as just for all the people, because some clients here in Dubai, they don't own the properties. They try to take the properties on long term, and then they try to short term themselves.
This is another kind of let's say this is called sublease.
Sublease.
It's not easy, but you can do. It's not easy because you can. A lot of owners they are afraid to do this to give to you the property
Okay.
because you need an NOC. So once you rent this property, you have to ask the owner to sign the NOC, which
To sublease.
Yes,
It has to be mentioned in the contract either way.
must.
Otherwise, you cannot. Subleasing is not allowed in Dubai.
No, because then you get problem with the judge.
Ijari. So if someone is not owning the property and they are taking it out on rent, so make sure that subleasing is allowed in your ijari, or else you will not be allowed to rent it out. So beside these 3 points, I have seen like if some of my clients like you are not living in Dubai,
No.
and you are managing this property yourself. So when it comes to replacing or cleaning the property, checking in, check out, how you are doing it, everything by yourself?
There are a lot of companies, especially in Dubai than in Europe,
Okay.
which you just need to synchro your calendar, Airbnb calendar or booking calendar with this company,
Okay.
and they will come for the checkout, for the cleaning, and then for towels, for the linens.
Everything.
Yes, everything.
And any estimation, like I know you might not be recalling the numbers.
Let's say that for an occupancy rate of 70%, which could be 6 clients in a month, you can pay around between 5 and 600 dirham. Sorry.
In total.
Yes. In
So
total.
let's say per check-in is 100 dirhams.
Let's say an average of 100 dirham.
dirham.
Yes.
Which is again
per check.
a decent amount.
Yes, this is let's say a standard checkout and cleaning. Then every quarter you need to have a good service, to provide a good service, clean the AC. So this is another kind of you spend 200 dirham for this the filter, because when you go in some apartment and you smell stink a bit, this is the filter of the AC.
Yeah.
You have to change this.
You have to
clean.
Okay.
Check-in is very easy. There are automatic lock which you send first of all, here in Dubai you don't need, I have my apartment with this.
Your apartment is always open.
It's always open. People go in and they ask me where I have to put the code. No, you don't need the code because we are in Dubai, thanks God. So I cannot say this in Malta, in Romania, but
so you're indirectly saying that Dubai is more safer than other locations which you have.
yes,
It is indeed.
yes, let's say in Malta it's safe. Romanian it's safe. I can speak about Bucharest,
Okay.
but Dubai it's Dubai.
Dubai is Dubai.
Yes,
Dubai is Dubai.
Dubai is Dubai.
So in terms of once the client made inquiry on Airbnb, select your property, made the booking and everything, and then you pass him the code for electric lock, they do the check-in themselves. The cleaning company comes in, they do the cleaning part. When the client checks out, after how many days it takes Airbnb to pay out your...
Could be 10 days, 15 days.
Could be 10 days,
But
15 days.
if it's one property, you can notice it in 15 days. When you have more property, let's say you care about the end of the month, cover the expenses.
So the cycle is like 1 week to 15 days for a few properties.
Yes, I mean for one property.
So in terms of occupancy and the rentals, we always know that, in December, November, January, the rents are quite good, per day. So do you want to say something about that, like how...
Well, I have an apartment in Burj Vista Tower 1, which is facing the Khalifa. Let's say if you stand your hand, you touch the Khalifa.
Okay.
And there, price for December and January, especially for New Year.
Tell me, surprise me with the number, how much you charge for the New Year night and the last week.
First of all, I have a minimum booking 4 days.
Okay.
And there we can even 5k per night.
So you are in short saying you made 20,000 in 4 nights.
Yes.
For this unit.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
that's
a 2-bedroom apartment.
2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, luxury, but the view is amazing.
On an average, for example, let's spare this December aside. Let's say in current time, like we are now in June. So which months of the year are slow in terms of...
Allora, so then slow, it's about the occupancy rates. You have to keep between 65 and 80. 80, this depends about the price. Okay. So you can have occupancy rate 80%, but price per day is cheaper than another day.
Okay.
This is what I suggest. What I don't suggest is make price too low. Better keep the unit empty than having someone inside.
Why is that?
Because you have to pay the cleaning, you have to the clients can, let's say, scratch it. Why you have to give something
so rather
for
than
free?
renting it out on a lesser price,
Yeah.
keep it vacant and then wait for someone who's
Yes,
giving you a decent rent, so you don't pay that often these cleaning charges and
Oh, and
everything.
maintenance as well, because remember, every 3 months you have to paint a bit, some scratch you have to fix to have a good property.
Let's say this Burj Vista of yours, if you don't mind me putting the numbers on screen, how much this unit you took it on rent?
This one, well, I got this contract 2 years ago, which the owner is not an easy person.
Okay.
And the price, imagine this, the property was listed for 200,000. When I told him that I need an NOC to sublease, he told me, okay, I need 10% more.
20,000 extra.
I say, sir, why you want 10%? He said, you will make money. Yes, so I want a piece of the cake. There was fuming inside, but then this was my only option because I called 6 or 7 owners. They say, no, we don't. No, we don't. So that was my.
This was the only guy who was allowing it, but on the higher rentals.
Yes. So let's say I will tell you this number because you can make a lot of calculation about ROI. To understand that your property is running good, you need a 30%. The ROI has to be at 30%
30%
of the renting
of the renting. So,
per year.
so let's say let's say 200,000 is a number. So ROI
70,000
70,000
net
net has to be in your pocket.
in your pocket.
We can make it like if someone like there will be a lot of people out there who will be curious.
Let's say I cannot say that it's easy. I cannot say that it's hard. To me, to get this property was art.
Okay.
However, what I suggest is always rent something and deal on the price. But you have to understand also the area. Downtown, let's say I would prefer it pay a bit more in downtown, but with 3 checks instead of 1 check, because there I paid 1 check up front.
Okay.
So
Downtown versus you're a person who has a
where
property
I-
in downtown and you
I
are having
like-
in JVC. Sorry,
What-
Barsha as well.
I love Al Barsha.
Okay.
So Al Barsha and Business Bay. To me, if it's your first time or a first time client, my mom is coming this year now.
Okay.
I will put her there, let's say, to downtown.
Okay, of course.
But downtown it's an amazing area, but it's not for businesses.
Yes.
Much better. If you wanna go in a nice area with super good price and a lot of services, go to Al Barsha.
So Michael, there are some clients who would like to manage their property by themselves, and some who try to go ahead with some companies who manage the properties for themselves. So out of all these 25 properties, don't tell me that you are the one who's handling all of them.
No. I gave all this property to another company
Okay.
because now I'm focusing to something different.
Okay.
You know what we are doing together, but I suggest if you have just one property or 2 property, you can do a lot
One can manage themselves.
because you have to pay. If you give to some company, you have to pay between 15% and 20%
The total and how that is applicable. That is on the total profit
On the
generated
gross.
on the gross
on the gross.
without utilities
Utilities, no, it's on you.
on the gross. So in
No,
terms
it's
of
on you, not on the gross.
on the gross, and if someone is an owner themselves, because a lot of client maybe they will be having understanding that what in terms of bills and all, they would like to know what we are talking about in terms of numbers. So Diva bill, how much approximately for a 1 bedroom?
400 dirham, 600 dirham,
Internet
400.
with TV.
Yes, with TV.
And what about AC bill approximately? That again varies from building to building, but roughly AC bill
The chiller should be 200.
200 dirhams. And on average, you told us that for every check-in and out, this company, a lot of companies are out there, will be charging approximately 100 dirhams per check-in. These are the only charges, and then 15 to 20% for the services if someone outsource to a management company.
Well, if you give your property to a managing company, you will pay just 15 or 20%, between 15 and 20%. That's it, stop.
Okay.
They won't charge you for every check-in and check-out.
Okay. They will be doing it, taking care of everything.
But
by
if you
themselves.
are running this kind of business alone, you have to choose a company who is cleaning the apartment and let's say check out and cleaning the apartment. Then you can pay 100 dirham every checkout.
So
And
all
cleaning and checkout
the clients who are having, let's say 1 or 2 or 3 properties,
alone.
they should do it themselves rather than approaching a management company.
Exactly.
And in terms of like, you don't have to be exact, but let's say if the current rent for Belarus is 70,000 dirhams for a 1 bedroom, what do you think that this unit with an occupancy of 80% or 90% throughout the year that unit can generate on Airbnb in total?
Well, we have to understand that a good property can generate 30-35% of the rent per year. So let's say that you will pay this property 65,
Yes,
70.
Yes.
Okay, 30% of this net
Net, 30% of this net will
Yes.
come to the pocket.
in your pocket.
So,
yes.
just to answer all the clients out there who feel like what is the difference between traditional renting and the short-term renting, the answers I believe are well understood by Michael, that the rents will easily get you a net 30% profit inside your pocket of the total property
If you are renting
for
this
the renting this
property.
property. And for people who are having few properties, 1, 2 or 3 properties, though these are not few as well, but still if they are having it, it's always better to manage it themselves, which is I believe not that tough. Like, the process which you have told us now,
Yes,
it's not tough.
It's easy. What you have to care is about your customer care.
Customer
You
care.
have to be fast while there is a problem. Write an email. The client has to be
Resolve then and there.
yes.
Thank you, Michael, for coming here and giving your precious time to us. I hope that helps the people out there.
Thanks for inviting me, and I'm very happy that I share all my experience with you and with your followers. So guys, please follow this guy, Malik Pro Talks.
Thank you.